Welcome to Retirement Matters. Today I'm joined by John Lawson from Aviva and we're going to be talking about pension scams. Now, since the pension freedoms were introduced in April 2015, the number of over 55s who have been approached by scammers and the amount of people who've been scammed has soared. Why is this?
Prior to 2015, it was quite difficult to get your money out of a pension. You had to transfer to another pension, basically. You couldn't get all your money back out. But today you can take all your money out of your pension since the new pension freedom rules came in. So you can actually have a big lump of cash. And that's why scams have gone up. The scammers have realised that people can get their hands on what are really quite large amounts of money quite quickly. And therefore that's a magnet for scammers.
What are the most common scams that you're hearing about?
I think originally when pension scams first came on, much more common, maybe about 10 years ago, it was typically the scammer would set up a fake pension scheme, get you to transfer your money to that pension scheme and then liberate the pension scheme, give you maybe half the money and keep half the money for themselves. And clearly that's breaching a lot of tax rules and you're subject to additional tax. But today it's moved on to investment scams. So they'll try and persuade you to take your money out to invest it in biofuels or wind farms, or most commonly things like hotel developments, hotel rooms, and particularly places like Cape Verde. Storage units is another favourite as well.
And what happens when you invest in these schemes?
Well, they actually are in some cases real investments. Some of the investments turn out to not even exist, but most of them are actually real investments. But they're effectively built upon more and more people investing. So they'll promise you big returns, 8-10% a year from those investments. But they rely on getting new investors in all the time, a continuing expanding market, and that's clearly not going to be the case for hotel rooms or storage units or for anything that they're trying to sell you. And eventually they run out of new investors, and that's when it's difficult to get your cash back out those schemes and where the value of that investment plummets through the floor.
So it's obviously going to be impossible to stay one step ahead of the fraudsters. Are there any red flags you can tell us about that will help viewers spot potential scams?
I think the claims of high returns are the first red flag. If you're getting only 0.5% in the bank at the moment and somebody comes along and offers you 8 or 10%, that should be the first red flag. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Another red flag is people who are calling you cold that you've never spoken to before. That's the scammer's common tactic for contacting you is a cold call. They'll call you out of the blue and they'll tell you about this fantastic investment, how to take money out of your pension scheme, and again, it'll all sound fantastic. They might also pressure you by calling you a lot, so they might call you maybe even 7-8 times in a day to try and pressure you into moving your money. So these are the big warning signs. If that's happening to you, then it's time to stop. Those are the warning signs, and you should pull out at that stage.
Now, if you do find yourself in a situation where you think you have been scammed, what should you do?
I think if you're worried about the possibility of someone scamming you, go to a regulated financial advisor in the first place, and they'll be able to give you proper advice. But if you've already been scammed, the first thing you should do, or if you're worried about high pressure tactics being employed, go to the police or go to Action Fraud and report that incident to the police. The police can stop that person calling you. They can track that person and stop them trying to defraud people.
That's been really helpful. Thanks for joining us today, John.
Yeah, not at all.